am illustrating the point of how much she fucking loves Sonic.
Oh, I can tell. Do you have OCs?
No.
I never had OCs.
Not. When I was a kid, I would think of new Ben 10 aliens. That's it.
That doesn't count.
Okay.
You're allowed to have an imagination when you're a child.
Okay, then never mind.
Google just activated on your phone.
Yeah.
It said Ben 10 aliens searching now.
It's gone. The second I picked it up, it's gone. All right.
It's Nickelodeon listening.
I love Ben 10.
Do you? I've never seen it.
I love Ben 10. I don't like. That's the end of that statement. Like, there's if you've never interacted with that media, there's no.
I have zero. I know he turns into aliens, right?
Yeah.
Like 10 of them. That's why he's called Ben 10.
Yeah, and then as they needed to sell more toys, they increased the roster.
Ben 60.
There's a version of him that comes from the future called Ben 10,000.
Oh, so they didn't even front. They're like, no, we're not doing this. 10,000.
Yeah.
I guarantee I'm not going to think of 10,000 dumb aliens for this show.
I think in that episode he shows off like 4 new ones that the kid version of Ben never gets at any point in that show. And then, like, as they're reaching the end of the, like, original timeline of Ben 10, they realize it's like, oh, yeah, we did say in the future he would get these guys. I guess we should start introducing them.
Why is there a timeline for everything you like? People are like, John, what do you like? And I'll just be like, this movie. And then you're like, this is the timeline.
Because I watch more TV shows than you do. And there were 4 different Ben 10 TV shows that happened sequentially.
I don't know.
And then there was a reboot because
I'm never like the Michael Clayton timeline.
It's because there's only one Michael Clayton movie.
It rules.
I watch franchises.
I bet Michael Clayton could throw Ben 10 in jail. He'd win that case.
This is a child?
Yeah. String him up into the clean. We're sending his ass to Rikers.
Yeah, but sometimes he turns into an alien adult. So
Good, we'll bury him deep. 2 in the head for Ben 10.
Sending Ben 10 to Guantanamo.
Ben 10 to life. Oh. That sucked. Not that joke. That was fine. Today, though. These movies
sucked.
Yeah. You want to do the intro? Well, I just sit here and stare and think of a different world. What was a world where I didn't watch these?
Welcome.
Whoa, I'm having a great time in that time.
Oh my god, welcome back to Kill All Film Majors. Might change it to Makers after this fucking fiasco of a day.
Or at least include ourselves.
At least include Jan DeBont. Welcome to Kill All Film Majors. My name is Duncan and that's
John.
And today we watched some good old grab bag. We got a Goodwill Grab Bag going on. We reached in the crate of mystery and we pulled out some fucking garbage.
Yeah, Goodwill Grab Bag, real quick rundown. We got a box of like 80 DVDs from a thrift store. We grabbed 2 and watched them. And I'm reconsidering our choices after today's double feature of The Purifiers. Is it The Purifiers?
I'm not wearing my glass.
Who cares? And The Purifiers and Lara Croft subtitle.
Yeah, The Purifiers and Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
Yeah, emphasis on colon.
You gotta have to piss a lot during that movie. Your colon okay, buddy?
It was, I think that was just boredom. My prostate hit the alarm button to get me out of there.
What's your prostate have to do with piss?
I thought when your prostate's enlarged, you piss a lot.
I know nothing about the prostate. I failed human biology.
I never had human biology, but I'm a prostate connoisseur. I've been all over God's green earth.
Gourmet. Anthony Bourdain's No Reservation.
It says Kitchen Confidential, but it's me butt naked when the little, like, as they're tearing my shorts down.
Oh, man.
I'd rather get fucked in the ass than watch these 2 movies again.
Same. So we watched The Purifiers first, and The Purifiers is a Scottish film. And if you know anything about the Scottish film scene, you know more than we know.
Yeah,
this movie starred Dominic Monaghan, who was famously a bench warmer in the Lord of the Rings movies.
He was one of them filthy little hobbitses, and I don't know which one.
Mary.
Mary?
He was Mary.
I knew he was one of the twins or whatever.
Yeah, they weren't twins. They were fucking? I genuinely don't remember.
Hobbitses.
All I know is they had different last names, so it's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, he played Mary, who isn't even I think Mary. Does Mary fuck the elf? Because Pippin is the one that grabs the ball.
Ain't none of them fuck elves.
No, one of them like rides around on horseback with this woman and like they're constantly making goo eyes at each other. And
you're thinking a different thing. That woman is interested in Aragorn. She's riding with him and they're friends.
Okay, and she marries which one died?
Boromir died, so she marries Faramir.
Yeah.
I'm like a secret big Lord of the Rings fan.
We gotta find an excuse to watch those.
They're playing, the extended editions are playing at theaters tomorrow.
I'm busy tomorrow.
Well, I'm not going to do 4 hours in the theater anyway, so.
No, I mean, I can get the Lord of the Rings extended.
I'll get them too. No, they're also on Max, and I have Max.
I don't have Max.
That's okay. I have it. It's the worst streaming service. Or it's like the best that gets worse every time you open it. It used to be so good.
The thing is, I still love a lot of DC and Justice League stuff, so I would probably get a lot out of the platform just rewatching a lot
before they delete it.
Yeah, before they delete it. But I also heard they're like raising their prices too.
Everything's prices are up. If I had to stop dealing with anything raising their prices, I wouldn't even be able to go to the grocery store. Like, I'd be on a hunger strike, media strike, just be naked in a field. Sounds pretty good after the Purifiers.
Sounds so much better. So yeah. The big claim to this film was that it starred Dominic Monaghan, and this came out I think the same year as Return of the King.
Maybe
2003, 2004.
No, it was later than that, wasn't it? Whatever.
This was coming out around the same time as Lord of the Rings was fucking huge.
Which
so
is they did the classic cheap DVD thing. Dominic Monaghan's name's on it.
He's on the cover of the movie.
He's in 3 scenes.
He plays a turncoat lackey of a villain.
Yes. And
I don't remember who else was in this movie.
No one of note. That sounds mean, but I just mean like no one I'd recognize. It seemed to be an indie Scottish film. It said somewhere on there like indie, one of their funds, kind of like how we have Washington Filmworks and stuff.
Yeah, I think this was like partially in works with like a Scottish film school. So it wasn't a straight up like student film, but this was a lot of like students' first exposure to working on a real film set.
Which, I mean, fair to them, and no one's first exposure on a film, no one's first film is good, and this is no exception. But it definitely sounds like a film student when you pitch the story, which is that in Scotland there's like 9 karate gangs that all rule the night, as
all do different karate. It said at the beginning they all practice different martial arts.
Yeah, and they all kind of just like, it's very The Warriors.
That's what the back of the box, literally, the first line on the back of the box says that, like, it invokes the Warriors in this modern...
Yeah, evokes in the sense that steals. Like,
there's so many moments. There was the scene where they were calling out the name of the main character, and you were like, that is exactly like Warriors, come on, say. Like,
he's like, he's not clinking bottles, but he's banging something too. Like, it's 1-to-1 basically.
It's got like a metal pipe on like a fence or something.
And it's just, I mean, the movie's really simple. They all go to a gang meetup, like the beginning of the Warriors, but they take 20 minutes to get to that. And then they have to escape the gang meetup while the other gangs chase them. Instead of someone being killed, it's just they said no to it. They want to form one big karate gang and sell drugs.
This is straight edge the Warriors. That's what this is.
Yeah. And so then they have to escape because they don't want to sell drugs. So now they're too good, so they got to escape the bad gangs. And then it's just, I mean, like,
every gang is cooler than them because they have a fucking aesthetic. There's the Angelos, which all wear like white t-shirts with these like light up neon crosses on the front. And I mean, like, they are epileptic warning flashing light up, and they drive around this huge Jeep with speakers on all sides blasting the word of God.
It's actually just like music. It's not.
Yeah,
like...
the word of God.
But yeah, and if every gang in there looked like that, this movie would have something going for it. Because that's something that I guess we'll probably reference the Warriors a couple times, believe it or not. But like, you've seen the Warriors?
No.
Really?
No.
That's why you don't understand just how much this is aping it.
No.
The Warriors is about a group. They go to this gang meetup. It's the opening.
I played the video game.
Of course you have.
You look so tired.
Rocksteady made that?
Yeah.
The people who made the Batman game?
No, it was a Rockstar, the people who made Grand Theft Auto.
Oh. So anyway, they go to a gang meetup. The gang leader gets killed, and then they get blamed for it, so they have to escape. Mm-hmm. And in every gang has an aesthetic. There's the baseball ones that have like half face paint. There's like
all girl biker gang.
Yeah, the lesbians. There's the. I think they're literally called something like that.
It's not very subtle.
Because at one point in that movie, they like seduce them. They seduce the Warriors, and then I think one of them literally goes, "Wait a second, you like girls," and that's how they realize they're being tricked.
They're not called the Warriors; they're called the Purifiers because they're here to clean up the streets.
Oh, I'm talking about the Warriors.
Oh, I was talking about the.
Oh no! See, that's how much overlap there is. There's literally a lesbian group in like the Warriors.
Oh no, the Purifiers. How much did you ape?
That they're like roller derby. Like a group instead of just women on motorcycles.
In the Purifiers, it's motorcycles.
So they have to escape, and here's this one twist in the movie. It's not Bobby Moynihan.
Dominic Monaghan.
Dominic Monaghan. Bobby Moynihan was like on
SNL,
yeah. Dominic Monaghan, the Hobbit, he's like, yeah, let's sell drugs. Let's work with these other gangs. Because the leader of all these gangs is running for president of Scotland, prime minister.
Prime minister. I was joking president throughout the movie, but he's running for a big public office.
Their version of president, whatever it is, it's not real compared to ours. But so they got to escape with this gang, and it sounds like we don't have a lot to talk about because we don't.
The worst part of this movie, I was waiting for this to be the cherry on top. So yeah, Dominic Monaghan betrays them, so the leader goes to this dude running for fucking prime minister. They have a big fight, and the end of the movie is like,
damn, we're already at the end.
Yeah, the end of this movie was like barely featured. This movie was under 90 minutes.
It is.
It's like 80 something, maybe 80 minutes. Without credits, probably under 80 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like 84 with credits. So
we haven't even the opening of the movie.
Is
a man walking towards the screen as a superimposed car drives by, and he basically just talks about, he's like, sometimes in the night you gotta like do karate. Just keep your soul pure is basically the idea. That's why they're the Purifiers.
Yeah. And they stop a sexual assault.
That's true. And they do a little bit of like flashy editing. It doesn't look great, but it's interesting. And they stop a rapist, and then it cuts to just like a montage of them doing karate in their dojo.
Yeah.
And everyone does martial arts or like gymnastics or some backflips or whatever. And so you're like, okay, karate gangs, we're actually doing martial arts. It's a weird opening, but at least the editing's interesting. Maybe we'll just have a wacky 80-minute karate movie. You're shaking your head no, huh?
No.
What did we have instead?
So this is the cherry on top. This was the worst. How do you fuck up action in an action movie? This is a question for you at home. We'll wait a couple seconds so you can shout the answer at me like Dora the Explorer. How do you fuck up your action movie? You're right. You do play every action scene in slow motion with zero sound effects.
And no music.
No music, there's no. Every now and then there might be a grunt from like throwing a punch,
Or like a wish, like a whoosh. There was occasionally, or like a really slow.
but it's all every time a fight breaks out. And I was thinking about this. It's because nobody on the film was actually trained in martial arts. So if you had played it in real time, it would have looked like dog shit.
But in the beginning, they're all doing like backflips on crash pads and stuff.
Yeah, when they had crash pads, this was out in the field in the grass, and
But,
Dominic
like-
Monaghan's like, I'm not falling on the fucking grass.
Dominic, you're not even in these scenes. We got these other Scottish dweebs. But like, just cut in close.
No.
Okay, it is easier to just play it in slow motion. But then with no...
It also pads out the runtime. Imagine this movie without slow motion.
Oh my god, it'd be 40 minutes.
Imagine Justice League without slow motion.
Oh my god, it'd be 4 hours. Instead of 16. God. I never saw that long Justice League.
I've seen it 3 times.
What?
I own it.
What?
The Snyder cut.
What? Let's talk about that instead of the Purifiers real quick. Why the fuck did you see it 3 times?
Because I was interested in whatever Snyder considered his true vision for that movie, and I think it added enough in terms of story beats. Or I'm like, okay, this is like giving me interesting character beats, and if I'm being honest, I'll probably not watch it that much ever again.
Yeah.
Unless for some reason we wanted to find a...
Because it's like fucking Gone with the Wind if it was dog shit.
Well, I don't like Gone with the Wind, so...
What? I don't remember Gone with the Wind. I saw it once years ago. Which you like more, Gone with the Wind or Justice League?
Justice League.
That's what I might do. I might pair those two together.
Okay, but we have to watch those ones together.
Ugh.
That's a double feature we gotta do together.
That's like so many hours of my life.
Yeah. Here.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have like bed sores from getting up from your fucking couch.
It's a comfy couch.
Yeah, but you don't sit for 12 hours straight.
You don't?
Do you?
I'm a streamer, my guy.
That explains why you have depression.
Yeah, that definitely started when I started streaming.
Oh my god, the Purifiers.
Purify me.
Wait, so why 3 times? Why Justice League 3 times? 1 time because you're like, let's see Zack Snyder's vision. I'll at least allow that, even if I would have turned it on halfway through and you're like, oh, it's still going, huh? Boop. But what is watch number 2?
Look, I don't think there should be guilt in pleasure, but if we have to put a label on it, I think Snyder's Justice League might be a guilty pleasure of mine.
And what's number 3?
Guilty pleasure. It's just one of those things where like maybe my partner wasn't home or something. Okay, to be fair, I think the last time I watched it was when we still lived in an apartment. So that was years ago.
I guess it's so hard for like to imagine 4 hours as a guilty pleasure. It's just like, let me throw this on, and then that's your day.
That was my night. 8 p.m. to midnight.
It gets worse every time.
Yeah, like I'm just settled in for the evening. I don't know, man. Like I'm just hanging out watching a movie. What do you want from me?
An explanation, but it doesn't sound like I'm gonna get one.
That is your explanation.
It's an unsatisfying answer.
Much like the Purifiers, an unsatisfying answer. Why did this movie happen?
It happened because the lead singer of the Pixies wanted to make a movie.
God, if it was the lead singer of the Pixies, that would be so much better. No, this was...
Is that Christopher Mackey?
This would be the lead singer of the Skids.
What are the Skids? Did we ever figure that out?
It's a band. The thing is, the Skids is a punk band from like the 70s, 80s, back when punk, Europunk kind of meant something. But they don't play any punk music, is the thing. This movie has no like bite to it. No. It's like punk guy from the 70s, 80s making a movie 30 years after he's punk. He's like, he's like 60. There's no bite left in him. It's like when they roll Gene Simmons on stage. He's like, I'm a rocker. And you're like, go to your home. Go sit down. Go be with your grandkids, Gene. You're not rock. That's a rocking chair. It's like fucking Mick Jagger. He's had another kid like a year or 2 ago. Did he? Yes. Put him in the ground. Listen, fair fucks to him if he still can busk, but holy shit, Mick. He busts dust, dude. Whatever it is, it's potent enough to put a baby in her. Potent dust from
potent Jagger dust.
Episode name.
The Purifiers feels like getting a face full of Mick Jagger's dusty spunk.
Dunk.
The only difference is I'll probably get to hang with Mick Jagger. Oh, that's an interesting story. Ugh, my God. It's in my eye. It's dry.
I feel like I recognize the villain from this movie. I can see his face. When I close my eyes, I can see the villain of this movie.
I can't.
He's Aryan.
I can't see anything in this movie when I close my eyes.
No.
I barely can see it with them open. It was so boring.
No, so the movie, is there any death in this movie?
Death?
Yeah.
Yes. There's two.
Who dies?
A woman gets shoved in a glass, and then Bobby
Does that kill her?
Moynihan runs away. Or Donna Moynihan runs away.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He kisses her and is like, "Your lips are cold." Oh no, you're a corpse.
Because he thinks she's gonna turn evil with him, and then he doesn't, so he kills her, and then he gets killed.
Dominic Monaghan dies in this movie?
Yes, because once again, the final fight's about to happen between Johnny Who Gives a Fuck and Stevie I Don't Give a Shit, and and Dominic Monaghan is like, yeah, and runs away again. And I was like, where the fuck is he going? And it just cuts, and we never see it. And then he runs to a car, and he sits down in a car, and he looks at a woman, and he's like, let's get out of here. And then the woman he killed actually is alive, and she pops up behind him and like garrotes him.
So there's only one death.
Yes, but it's Dommy Bombaham.
The person they marketed this movie after. They don't even kill the bad guy in this movie. It's kind of like a big issue of mine. The lead, I can't even remember his fucking name. I feel like it was like just Kevin or something. I feel like he just had a name.
Yeah.
Can't remember, but it's not even like a cool action hero name.
The villain?
Yeah.
No, his name's Kevin.
He's like a Todd or something.
This is Kevin Todd. Todd Kevin. Call him TK. Todd Kevin Owens, TKO, technical knockout. That would have been cool. They call him TKO. He's never lost a karate match. All of them are knockouts.
But he breaks the bad guy's arm and leaves. Dude spitting up blood. He's just like, "We'll meet again. I'll kill you. Next time we meet, I'll kill you." He keeps saying next time we meet.
Setting up for the Purifiers too.
Imagine a universe with a Purifier cinematic universe.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Because you'd go into a comatose.
You know something we haven't mentioned the main character because we can't remember his name or his face because all he does is wear a coat and a beanie.
Oh yeah, he looks super cozy in the whole movie. He's just like, it's Scotland, it's cold, this is what I rolled up and shoot.
I'm trying to remember his face and I just keep seeing the short-haired blonde guy from Challengers. He's not him, but he's like a little bit.
I can see their faces, I just can't think of a name.
Tweedledee, Tweedledum.
I feel like when I looked him up, I was like, oh, he was like a lackey in a James Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, that's probably where I know him from, and then I closed IMDb. And then I opened it up again because I didn't want to watch this movie.
Yeah, and I closed my eyes.
For the last time.
IMDb, I don't care. I've got Purify. It's just watch the Warriors. The scene where they're on the subway train, so that is in the Warriors, but better.
IMDb, I am Decum Beth.
Purifier of Worlds.
And then the other movie we watched.
We're already done?
What do you want from me? It's the Purifiers. What do you want from me? This isn't even a Lumpus. There wasn't a cool part about this movie that it fumbled.
There wasn't a damn thing.
This wasn't even a Lumpus. Less than Lumpus. Speaking of Lumpus, Gerard Butler was in the other movie that we watched, which was Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Cradle of Life.
It was also bad.
At least this one had like music, and punchy action,
gunshots,
guns were fired,
fight sequences with actual.
And Angelina Jolie did unnecessary flips, which is very in character for Lara Croft.
So the only Lara Croft game I've ever played was the 2013 reboot.
The first one? There's like a trilogy of those.
Yeah,
the reboot. Okay.
I played the first one. I don't remember why, but I remember walking into GameStop, seeing it, and thinking it looked cool. I was interested, which was just, I remember being like, oh, I'm kind of interested. I don't remember exactly what, but I have no connection to Lara Croft. I had never played anything. And then I think my dad just pre-ordered the game for me on the spot. Not the whole thing, but he was like, you want to put $20 down on the pre-order? I was like, do I? And so we got the game, which was cool. It was a cool memory. I just had a nice moment remembering my father. Now I'm going to talk about this movie that made me want to kill myself. No, and that game was fun. I never finished it, but it was cool. Yeah. I enjoyed it. This movie is back when she was a really big deal, right? She was like a PS1 like main character poster child for Sony.
So this movie came out around this movie is also around the same, like 2003, 2004. These movies came out like probably the same year-ish.
Yeah.
These were very close together. So 2003 would have been around like the PS2 lifespan, so we were getting dog shit Tomb Raider games. This would have been around like Underworld, which was like bad.
But she was a big name.
Yeah, no, like I wouldn't say she was like, this was before like the big hiatus before Crystal Dynamics did the reboot that you played. Like there were still new Tomb Raider games coming out, and I wouldn't be surprised if I looked in that box and there's a little slip into the box saying like, oh, pre-order the new
for whatever.
Yeah, pre-order.
So I mean, they clearly have some money. Angelina Jolie's been a name. She was bigger even when this movie was made than she is now.
Because this would have been, would this have been before or after Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Because that was like the big one that really set her and Brad up.
No idea.
But
the one issue
is that it's bad.
But also, I didn't know this was a sequel. There's 2 of these movies. So the first one must have done good enough to get a sequel. Was this in theaters? Probably.
Oh, probably. Sony has the money. So
if this was in theaters, then it was the first one did enough to justify it. This wasn't like some direct-to-DVD where they changed the actors or anything like that. This is Jolie. This is young Gerard Butler, probably before he's a name. But Gladiator's around this time.
Gladiator was 2000. This was like
holy shit.
This was like 2 or 3 years after Gladiator.
So then he's a name.
He's a name. This movie.
He's in Gladiator, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's also in 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
You tripped me up for a second, but yes.
Okay, so he's just like, a buff ancient man.
He's not ancient yet. Give him another 10 years to marinate.
So were they planning on a series? More than this? They must have been.
They must have been. The issue here, and I brought it up a couple times as we were watching it, is that the crux of Tomb Raider is that it's video game Indiana Jones. Like it's ancient MacGuffin. She's gonna go to these like ancient jungle ruins. She's gonna go to the art. She's gonna go, globe-trotting adventure, and that's fine when it's not within the same like medium, with it not within the same sphere. But when you're doing a Tomb Raider movie, you start tripping up on like, okay, where can we send her that Indiana Jones hasn't been, so we're not just, flashy punk 2000s Indiana Jones with our cool Dutch angles that mean nothing.
I think this movie would have been better if they just aped it entirely. Like what? Think of the audience, right?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be like, oh my god, this is too similar to Indiana Jones?
Me.
Okay. But I think most people would be like, oh, that's the Lara Croft, whatever. I like Lara Croft. Or like people are like, it's Woman Indiana Jones. That's fun.
Yeah. But again, if you market it as Woman Indiana Jones, you're selling it to an Indiana Jones audience who's still going to be like, that's, she's going where Indy's already been.
Didn't they do that with this new indie movie and it bombed horribly, actually? So maybe you're right. Wasn't there a Woman Indiana Jones with that movie?
There was.
I never saw it.
There was a woman who was like the daughter of a friend of Indiana Jones or something. It's just like, oh, your dad was, another great explorer with
Destiny, the daughter of my friend from somewhere.
Yeah, no, like the unfortunate thing, and I could get into spoilers for that movie, but like there was a few things in that movie that really let it down. The way that I've described it is like 2/3 of a good Indiana Jones movie, and then the the third act is just a bad Doctor Who episode.
Well, there's a couple things in this movie that let it down, such as the script and the pacing and the editing and the direction and everything. Actually, now that I think about it, the whole pie, rotten to the core.
Yeah, so looking him up, this was directed by he's Dutch, so it might be Jans de Bont, but it could just be Jan.
Jans de Vant.
Jan de Bont directed
Jan de Bont, famed pirate of the high seas.
Jan de Bont. Yar!
I'm doing anything I can to not think about watching this movie I just saw.
He is a very well-seasoned cinematographer. Like looking up a lot of his stuff, at least it's a lot of movies that I have respect for. Die Hard, Hunt for the Red October. I think he was the cinematographer for the original Twister, but he produced movies like Equilibrium, Minority Report.
So like a strong resume.
Yeah. And then this.
It's
like the second he's put in creative control of a pre-existing IP, a sequel no less. He didn't direct the first one.
So video game movies are famous for being dog shit.
Yeah. I know.
And I think that's for two reasons. I think one, video games historically, whether or not I don't really play them much anymore, so I can't speak to, but historically have a lower bar for what is considered well written and could get away with, like you said, aping a lot of stories. So when you have to convert it, there isn't a ton to convert, because the second thing a video game is an interactive experience. So my story doesn't need to be great because you're going to play it and have fun. You're in the story.
Yeah, a Lara Croft game is, 45 minutes of a level and then a 30-second cutscene of story back to 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes of a level.
And that's why a lot of those games where it's like, oh, it's actually the story. You're like, well, this is a bad game because I'm not playing anything and I want to be.
That was kind of my... So... I never played Last of Us, but I really enjoyed the show because the first Last of Us game had a really good story that was easily adapted into a great show. So I was like, this is really good. Let me go back and play the game. The most fun I had with that game, I had to make for myself. I was playing it with my partner because, she likes, we play games with each other. And it's like, I haven't played this game.
It's called sex, don't
No. This is not, we're not having sex. We're playing video games on a couch this far apart from each other.
Oh.
So
what a horrible life.
No. So like I just had like this on, because again, it's so much of like, oh, I get it. It's kind of stealthy, but not really. The action, like I was not interested a whole lot in the gameplay of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Which for a game does not, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so people played this game just to get to the next cutscene because the story was that good. But then the show came out. Why would you ever play the game again?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I think my favorite video game. No, I don't have hardcore favorites. The game I think about the most though, Assassin's Creed 4.
Black Flag.
Because I got to be in a pirate ship and do pirate shit. And I would go find treasure and stuff. I couldn't tell you what the fucking story in that game was. I don't remember. Anytime they were talking to me about Assassin's Creed stuff, I was like, yeah. But like,
yeah. Give me the knife hand.
Yeah, exactly. And then so like the other game, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Pirate stuff. And that one doesn't even pretend to have a story. They're like, go do pirate things. I love that game.
Yeah, play online with your friends. Go do pirate things. We used to play Sea of Thieves online.
Did we play? Okay, I know I played with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I'm sort of a Sea of Thieves slut.
Yeah, I know.
Play with anybody.
We played a little bit.
If it's still on my computer, we should play more. That game's cool. But if you made a Sea of Thieves movie, or like when they made the Assassin's Creed movie
with Michael Fassbender,
like they would suck or did suck because none of the joy from those things has anything to do with what was written.
The Assassin's Creed movie wasn't terrible because the cinematography worked in favor with like the cool parkour of the actual like action chases and stuff still looked cool because it evoked a lot of the game.
Okay. I always forget it exists. Yeah. I've never seen it. Because, I mean,
I have.
Yeah.
This was Tomb Raider Cradle of Life is one of the only video game adaptations I haven't seen.
Well, check that off the list.
Yup.
Another bullet in the barrel. It's a very simple story, all right? Lara Croft needs to find an orb, and she finds it immediately.
The like second scene in the movie is into the Temple of the Orb.
And then mercenaries from China steal it. And then she needs to basically get the orb back because the orb leads to the Cradle of Life, which is implied to be Pandora's box. And then later turns out to literally be an ancient Greek Pandora box.
It is glowy orange and yellow. It's just for some reason it's not in Greece. It's in Africa.
It's in Africa. That's where the Pandora hit it.
But yeah, and an Irishman has hired the Chinese mafia to
get the orb.
To get the orb.
So Lara Croft needs to team up with Gerard Butler, her old boyfriend turned criminal, who used to be a Scotsman in the Chinese mob.
Is that what was happening?
That's how, because she was like, I need you to take me to their hideout. And then when he shows up, they go, we told you never to come back here, you traitor.
Okay, I made the joke of, oh wow, this is Lumpus because Gerard Butler's here. Gerard Butler's 2 for 2 of I'm a Scotsman, but I'm gonna move somewhere else and work for other people.
Yeah, like in Lumpus, he's Secret Service for the U.S., but he's Scottish.
And then here he's Scottish but Chinese mafia.
The king of the Chinese, the white emperor of China.
We gotta watch Gladiator. Get that Scotsman to swap out his kilt for one of those battle skirts that Legionnaires.
Spaldings.
What the fuck did you just call me?
Sorry, it bubbles out sometimes. So she gets Gerard Butler, and then they're like, all right, let's go get the orb because the Chinese have turned on the Irish. And an unrelated twist. That doesn't matter. And so then they just go to get the orb and they just walk into China and they start doing motorcycle stunts together. And it looks like they're driving through the Shire. And I don't mean that like they're just driving on the Great Wall of China at first. And you said it's like a level. And I'm like, oh, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, everything in this game everything in this movie is designed to be like, what would be a level of the game? The temple with the orb, maybe the hideout of the Chinese mafia.
And it just looks like it is the Great Wall of China.
She's just driving on the Great Wall of China, and I'm imagining the reality of her barreling through tourists.
And then she jumps off and we switch over and we go through fucking filthy hobbitses. And then we park and Gerard Butler's like, now we gotta walk from here and don't look at my ass.
That's a line in the movie. Don't look at my ass. And I thought he was talking to me.
And this is unrelated to anything. And he goes, what happened to us, man? Laura, we used to be buddies. And at that point, I was like, was he in the other movie? Because this is the second, and we haven't seen the first.
I looked it up, and no, he was not in the first one. They're just they're just expositing all of this history on you that they used to be lovers.
So then they get her kidnapped or taken prisoner by the Chinese mafia. And we meet the leader, who's just some guy, and his henchman, who's the fattest Chinese man in the world.
Oh.
And this is another theme we're building with Goodwill Grab Bags, which is fat henchmen.
This and Out for Justice. We have 2 for 2.
And I think it's because a tall, fat guy is like the closest you can have to giving someone superpowers in real life.
There is a presence, like how you scare a bear by making yourself look as big as possible.
Like you turn the corner and there's just this big fat Chinese and he's like, I'm ready. Like you and me tonight, brother. We're fucking throwing hands.
He's tossing Gerard Butler around.
And
through tables, through walls.
Punches are ineffective. He tries to swing and it just is absorbed because you can't take him down. You need the strength of a tiger and the courage of a lion to defeat one fat man.
Gerard Butler has neither.
And so the Chinese leader takes Lara Croft into his terracotta army and he's like, check this fucking shit out.
Oh my God. Here's my terracotta warrior room where I have a bunch of terracotta warriors. Let me tell you about White Emperor Qi.
This is where they buried the white Chinese emperor. I will defend it with my life.
That's what I think is so funny. So many times I was not paying attention to this movie because you were giving me historical. It happened twice. You were telling me about the theory that Emperor Qi possibly could have been Greek. You were also telling me about your honestly concerning interest in Alexander the Great.
Concerning?
Look, that man took over a lot of land that wasn't his. He was the ultimate colonizer.
From people who took it over before. In the time period, you took over places. You can't judge people by it outside of the context in which they lived.
So that was the fashion of the time?
It was the world.
I'm going to say it. I hate everybody from 1000 BCE or whenever that was.
But you live in a time in which that you can know that that is incorrect. So we can judge you by the context of our time based on your opinions of the past. But if you go to the past, someone can't be judged by the context of your life. You have to judge them by the time period they grow up in because that's the only information they have access to.
I absorbed none of that.
Really?
No.
It's like like every president is racist, right?
Correct.
But the further back you go, the harder it is to judge someone by the racism of their time. I can't say George Washington was a bad person by his time standards for owning slaves. He's a bad person because he owned slaves. But in his time, would you go to the 1700s and say, don't own slaves? And would you be the standard?
You're right. I would not be the standard. However, time travel's not real. I exist here and now.
Right, but I'm saying you can then look at George Washington in history and say, what did he do for the country?
Okay.
He did, there was, I'm saying presidents, presidential historians, they're all bad people. Not presidential historians. Presidents are all bad people. And the further back you get, they're worse.
We don't even need history to tell us that. Look at the last few administrations.
Well, sure, but those are in our time. Ronald Reagan's a piece of shit.
Oh, Ronald Reagan is
But he's in
awful.
modern times.
Yeah.
Is Teddy Roosevelt a racist man?
Roosevelt?
What is he?
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt? There's two O's, like moose.
It's pronounced Roosevelt. I've never heard Roosevelt.
It's Roosevelt, is it not?
Not Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt? There's two O's, like moose.
Correct, there are.
But I guess I've gotten distracted. But Alexander the Great was not a colonizer by his standards or by his time.
He was a great leader by his time.
He's a great leader by our time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I know nothing. All I know is that I know nothing.
Alexander the Great's my hero.
All right.
I got a bust of him for my birthday.
What the fuck?
Someone got me a bust.
Like this year?
Yes.
Jesus. I thought this was like when you were still in school, this was an interest of yours. This is ongoing.
I have books on Alexander the Great at my house.
What the fuck? You can read?
I love Alexander the Great.
Oh my god.
And,
I've learned two incredible things.
You didn't know I liked Alexander the Great?
No, I've learned two incredible things about you. That you love Alexander the Great and can't pronounce Roosevelt.
My brain is a shotgun. You don't know what I'm going to hit and what I'm going to miss.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Lord of the Rings and Alexander the Great?
Yes. You didn't know I liked Lord of the Rings?
No, we've talked about it.
Oh, okay.
Because we've talked about it in the context of Dungeons and Dragons, where you're like, I constantly think I hate fantasy shit, and then I think about the only fantasy media I've consumed, which is Lord of the Rings.
Which I love.
And I fucking love Lord of the Rings.
I have to watch Excalibur.
Okay.
I think I'd love it. I like Arthurian legends a lot.
Yeah, no, Arthurian Legend is really cool.
And Excalibur's from the 80s and looks awesome.
Watch Excalibur.
I bought it from Barnes & Noble. I think on DVD. I gotta watch it.
We were talking about Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, the Cradle of Life.
I got distracted by judging history. How do you judge history?
Yeah, so...
Obama says...
bombed children in third world countries.
Yes. But he says Teddy Roosevelt's one of his favorite presidents. Roosevelt.
Yeah, because Teddy Roosevelt set up the national park system, which conserved a lot of land in the United States.
But he also was racist.
Yeah.
But do we judge him by our time or his?
People are multifaceted. They can be many things. You could love nature and be racist.
I know. That's why I hate pandas.
So you're the opposite. You don't love nature and you're not racist.
I love nature.
Except pandas.
Except pandas.
Don't tell Angelina Jolie because she was in Kung Fu Panda. She was the tiger.
Tigers eat pandas, probably.
I'm just saying she was in...
Maybe not. Maybe pandas are the big fat Chinese of the animal kingdom.
They push back on any predator. They're just throwing tigers across the jungle.
Which is what was happening in...
Lara Croft,
this movie called?
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, which, according to the box, is starring an actress named Lara Croft. Angelina Jolie's name is nowhere on the box.
She could have been, for all I know. I never seen her in nothing.
I couldn't, nothing. No, she was in the Eternals. We were talking about Marvel, and I was like, I'd sooner watch Thor 2 than the Eternals. She was in that.
Damn. So Gerard Butler gets thrown by the fat Chinese. Lara Croft kills the other Chinese. They have the orb. The fat Chinese doesn't even die. Gerard Butler just punches him and runs away.
Like a bitch. Because he knew we couldn't take him.
No one can. We got to send our fattest warrior to stop him. I would watch Rocky, but it's like Rocky 4, but it's just the fattest we have. It's like The Biggest Loser. But it's just whoever loses the fight.
We are finding any excuse. We pulling the veil back. We just came from this movie and we are struggling to talk about it. Like
the bad guy shows up and steals the orb back.
The Irishman shows up.
Sorry, were you gonna say something else? I cut you off.
No, it's just like as we were setting up the mics to record, I was putting the DVD back in its case. We just watched this movie and so much of it has already escaped me.
Yeah. They swing around in Chinatown as the Irishman steals the orb. And then they have to just analyze the orb?
Yeah, so my prediction when we were watching it, because the orb is, it looks like it's made out of amber. It's this really nice, like, yellowish gold, orangish, like, glassy texture, but it's covered in, like, these little black specks, these little black dots. And my theory was, okay, they're going to shine a light through it, and it's going to be a, like, star pattern on the ceiling, and they're going to be like, okay, those are the stars over the location of Pandora's box.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a star map leading us to...
Which would have been really simple, and also, I would have been like, sure.
Yeah.
No, we got to put it in the surgery machine to
She kicks in the door of a small Chinese family and says,
No, we're not even there yet. First, remember, she takes it to the science lab where they have the shootout?
Oh, yeah!
And they analyze the orb, and they're like, it's an orb. And I'm not really sure what they're analyzing, and then they have a shootout. The movie is very similar, and you're not going to get this reference. Mission Impossible 2.
Not seen any Mission Impossible.
This movie is just, it came out like the year 2000. So this movie comes out 3 years later, but the first one comes out around 2001. I think this movie's trying to Mission Impossible to it, because there's a lot of similarities with the shootout in the lab, down to her jumping sideways with the guns. There's exactly that same shot in a lab.
Yeah, but that's like a Max Payne thing.
I'm just saying Tom Cruise does it in this exact environment.
Okay.
Like a white Chinese lab jumping sideways. White in like white color, not white Chinese like the Emperor.
Yeah, no, a stark clean room environment. Yeah.
So, and it's all for a virus. Mission Impossible 2 is all about a virus.
This isn't about a virus, so I don't know why you're bringing that up.
In the opening, remember the bad guy kills it, and they think Pandora's box has a super virus.
Is that what he thinks is in it?
Yeah.
All I know is Kieran Hines, who is an Irishman playing an Irishman in this movie. Hey, we got the Holy Trinity, English, Scottish, and Irish. The Holy Ghost.
Is Angelina Jolie English?
Lara Croft is.
But is Angelina Jolie?
No. So
she's the odd one out.
Yeah. No, but like in terms of characters, we got, because like English and Scottish for Lara Croft and Gerard Butler's character, and there's a little bit of like, we don't like each other.
Yeah.
And then Irish, is this also IRA coded? Does he hate?
Sure.
Sure. But yeah, the movie, the villain opens, Kieran Hines' character is in a plane with a bunch of business people, and he's like, I am rich and will make you all rich if you don't betray me. This guy betrayed me. There's super Ebola in his water. And dude,
literally Ebola, by the way.
He says this is a
advanced Ebola.
yeah, this is an advanced strain of the Ebola virus, like fast acting. Like this dude sips his water and immediately starts coughing and dying. And this dude, Kieran Hines is passing around like little anti-serum tablets for people to take and not catch the super Ebola.
Which again doesn't play in his movie, except he thinks even better Ebola is in Pandora's box and he's gonna weaponize it. So they escape the lab with the interacted orb, and now they have to analyze it. So they do. This is when they take it to a Chinese family who lives on a boat. Was she on a boat?
I don't know. She's on a Junko of some kind.
A what?
Don't worry about it.
What's that from? It sounds like some shit they say in Chappie.
No,
hey, bro, take it to the Junko. That was Diane word. That was my Diane word. Diane word talks kind of like they're learning English as they're saying it.
Yeah, the guy from Monkey Man played Chappie.
Hey, Chappie.
God, I wish I was watching Monkey Man. Fuck. Okay.
So they take it to a Chinese family, and she hooks up a Game Boy to a TV.
She hooks up a Game Boy and a cell phone to a TV. She's using the camera from the cell phone to like look at herself, and she's got the Game Boy plugged into the TV.
And that makes the orb glow. When they play the dots on it are music, and they play the music, and that makes the orb glow, which is dumber than I said your prediction would either be correct, and I would be fine with it, or it would be stupider. The movie would not be smarter than you, and I was fucking right.
Let's fucking hear it. I'm smarter than Lara Croft, or at least on par.
Smarter. You're smarter than this movie.
So,
which is like saying, I don't know.
I'm smarter than a monkey in a tin hat.
Yeah.
It plays a 3D hologram movie of Africa around this. It plays a 3D movie around this little Chinese home of Africa, like showing like animals frolicking in the field and stuff. And the Chinese family is terrified because they don't know what's happening.
And they were watching Chinese SpongeBob, and Angelina Jolie decided to fuck up their life.
It was just SpongeBob with Chinese dub over it, and like it was one of those things like I recognize like that isn't like
that's like cognitive dissonance for us because SpongeBob opens his mouth and then a Chinese voice comes out, and you're like, what?
That's not Spyro,
huh?
SpongeBob plays Spyro.
SpongeBob plays Spyro, like
Tom Kenny.
Oh, you're talking about voice actor. I thought you were saying the character SpongeBob.
No.
plays
no.
Spyro.
No, the voice actors are the same.
Okay. Well, good for you, Spyro.
I love saying things that make you so tired.
I have a low resistance right now because I just had to watch Purifiers and Tomb Raider. Who gives it to?
We thought this movie was way longer than it was gonna be.
I thought it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, because we were thinking 2.5 hours, but it's under 2 hours. It felt
just barely.
It felt like 2.5 though.
It did. It's also in full screen, not widescreen. Our DVD copy.
That was how it opened. So it opened with a widescreen menu.
Yes.
And the disc said full screen. It opened with a widescreen menu, and I was hoping. Maybe in the settings, I can change it. I can change the format. Maybe it has both options. It didn't. So I thought maybe once I hit play, it'll do that thing where it asks, old DVDs would say, do you want to watch widescreen or full screen? It didn't. So it just opened with 2 vertical black bars on either side of it.
We watched this shit in 4:3.
As Zack Snyder intended for his original vision.
Is that Justice League in 4:3?
Justice League Snyder
That's right.
is in 4:3.
Why? Is there a reason?
A reason for what?
Why it's in 4:3?
For the director's original vision. The movie opens with this movie is presented in 4:3 aspect ratio to preserve the director's original vision.
No, I'm saying why is that his vision?
Ask him. I'm not Zack Snyder.
But like you could watch the movie and be like, "Oh, that makes sense." So like
no, there is no reason visually on screen why it should be in 4:3.
Okay, because like there's the movie A Ghost Story.
Mm-hmm.
That's in 4:3, and that's to make everything really tight and really home movie and warm and melancholy, so you understand it.
Is that a good movie? It's been,
Yeah.
Okay. It's on my list, but it was added so long ago. I don't know if I'm gonna.
Directed by David Lowery.
Yeah.
Do you like The Green Knight?
I saw maybe like 5 minutes of it. If I'm being
Same
honest.
director.
Okay.
Green Knight fucking rules. I just got the special DVD Blu-ray from A24.
Nice.
I'll bring it over if you want to watch it.
Hell yeah.
You'll like the DVD or the disc and the packaging too. You'll be like, ooh, they spent time on that.
Yeah.
Should have spent more time on Lara Croft.
Should have spent more time
on writing
And
it.
for some reason, this movie wasn't good enough to round off the trilogy. We never got a third one.
No.
So this movie ends with them going to Africa,
And there's smoke monsters.
and there's smoke monsters that never get. Yeah,
First they talk to a tribe.
Yeah, so they get there, and Jimon Hansu is waiting for Lara Croft. And I think you were saying it's like we're in Act 3 still introducing new characters, and Jimon is just there to translate for this tribal leader, and she's like, "Look, I've got this orb. It's telling me Pandora's box is here." And the tribe leader's like, "Get the fuck out of my country." The exact words were like, "Leave the orb and never speak of it. Leave the orb and never speak
Last
of
time
it.
British people showed up here, it didn't turn out so well. So I'm gonna need you to turn your fucking ass around.
Leave." Yeah, no. So
I can't. I parachuted in.
yeah, so they take her. They eventually just
The GI Irish show up. The Irish villain shows up, but they're all in army uniforms now, and they just start gunning down this tribe.
yeah.
It's 100-0. It's not even close. One of them has spears. I'm not even fucking with you.
Yes, it is again, this movie's from 2003, so the African tribal people have those really tall like body shields that, wrap around the forearm and
Like stereotypically think Zulu warrior versus 4 guys with M16s.
it was not even close.
A helicopter lands, they go, and then they're like, all right, Lara Croft's our prisoner now. Let's go find Pandora's box.
And for a brief 5 seconds, they were in a Resident Evil movie because smoke monsters showed up.
Unexplained.
They're heading for the titular Cradle of Life, which the Cradle of Life is the country of Tanzania in Africa, because it's like this is the where life started. This is where fish crawled out of the muck and became monkeys, became people.
Some of them, the others became smoke monsters.
They look like tiny. I say tiny. They're still like 8 feet tall, but they look like Rancor from Stars War with like those round, sharp teeth mouths. They don't have eyes, but they have like just the weird 3-digit.
It really
claws.
does. You said Rancor, and I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it's. It's that hunched over thing, no eyes, all CGI, looks like shit.
But they will claw the shit out of you and then wave dash into a tree and just
teleport. They just turn to smoke, and then they show up, and then Lara Croft's like they work on sound.
Yeah, they don't have eyes. They operate on sound.
And then she's like, wait a minute, I know how to defeat them, because they kill all the monsters. So it's just Lara Croft, bad guy, and like 2 other people like Gerard Butler and Jimon Hansu. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
And then she's like, wait a minute. And she takes the orb that this whole movie's been about, and she throws it in a hole, and it opens into a cave where gravity doesn't work.
And the smoke monsters all dissipate because the orb glows real bright.
And then the orb is never seen from again.
The orb is just gone. The smoke monsters are gone. And just for a brief second, I thought legitimately it was going to be some kind of this is a, African tree spirit that doesn't want us on the land, or it's going to be some kind of this is ancient ghosts from the orb in Pandora's box. No, they don't even put a name on these things.
As far as I know, they're unrelated. They hid Pandora's box in the smoke monster area to stop you from getting it.
It's just gone. Pandora's hot box gets you the smoke monsters.
And then she has a final confrontation. They find Pandora's box. It's in bubbling goo. It's like really hot water that melts you.
Yeah, it looks like a tar pit.
Yeah.
It looks like.
And the main villain gets thrown in there. He melts into bad CGI. And then Gerard Butler goes, because he's had an on and off again with Lara Croft. And he goes, listen, I'm either leaving here with Pandora's box or I'm leaving here fucking dead. And you'll never guess which one happens to him.
Lara Croft shoots him and leaves his body for the smoke monsters.
Who may or may not be dead based on the rules of Pandora's box that are not explained. And then Lara Croft goes, maybe I open Pandora's box.
She cracks the lid. So the myth of Pandora's box, for anybody unfamiliar, in ancient Greek mythos, is that when you crack it open, it's got all of the worst parts of humanity in it. Every sin is in there. Every, terrible thought, terrible deed, every crime is in this box. And the only thing left in there was hope. Like hope, like this little shred of like hope for humanity was the one thing still left in Pandora's box. And that was like the one thing that could stop every other like terrible thing, was hope for humanity.
So like, I would have opened that fucking box.
Wouldn't happen to me.
I'm the odds.
What are the odds that it would happen twice?
And she starts cracking that box, and the glowing light of heaven seems to be radiating from it.
It's the box from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's just godlight. But like the rules of Pandora's box say the second you open it, it's open. This isn't a maybe thing.
Well, she cracks it, gets a little peek, and she goes, never mind.
She's like, nah, that shit's evil.
And then she calls out of the hole, and she's like, Gerard Butler's dead. The Irish man melted. Pandora's box is gone. Let's get the fuck out of here. And credits roll.
Credits roll. I don't
Thank
even remember.
God.
Was there an epilogue to this movie at all? Was there like
I literally can't remember how it ends.
No.
I don't know. Oh, no. I do remember. She comes out of the pit. The tribe is like, where'd you guys go? Or where's Pandora's box? And she's like, leave that shit alone, dog.
Some things are better left undiscovered.
And then there's a gay panic scene.
Yes, the
Because she
gay
has
panic.
two little gremlins who hack for her.
Yeah, she's got one dude that trains her in like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And one dude that is her like little gopher, like get me tech stuff, do my tech stuff
And they're getting done up by the like rest of the tribe that wasn't gunned down.
yeah, one dude's getting little like dots on his face, little tribal dots on his face. One dude's getting his hair braided and dreaded, and Jimon Hansu
goes, just so you know, this is a wedding. And they're like, between who? And they're like, you two.
This is a wedding, and you two are the grooms.
And they go, oh, geez, we got to get out of here. And so then they get in the back of a truck, and it literally ends with them going, go, go, go. And they just speed away from the gay as credits roll.
Into the sunset.
Which is like, it's an early 2000s movie. Totally makes sense that it would be a gay panic, like whatever. But it's more just like a fucking cherry on top of like, holy shit. Like,
that's the note we're ending this on? This cool action movie that you're trying to sell me on?
is like, what if these two characters we've seen twice were gay?
Or were they were afraid that other people thought they were gay?
Yeah. And it's like, womp, womp. Come back for round 3.
That's how the movie ends.
That's how it all ends. I'm so
And
sick
that's
of
when you pull out a gun.
I'm so sick of movies. This fucking box, man.
So join us next time on KAFM when we'll be watching more shit from the box. Or maybe some movies that we pick out ourselves. Or maybe something from the current movies that are being shown in movie theaters.
I saw The Watchers last night.
I don't even. Oh, okay. Is that the new
That's
one?
M. Night
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan's daughter's directorial debut.
Is it like Sophia or something?
It's something different.
Okay. I don't know why Sophia was in my head, but
I think you're thinking of Sofia Coppola.
The other Nepo baby.
Who is an excellent director.
She is.
So I'm told. I've never seen any of her movies.
I actually do want to see M. Night's new one.
Trap. Listen, I was wondering which one I would enjoy more, Trap or Watchers.
And Watchers, it sounds like Watchers was bad.
Trap's gonna have to really work hard to be worse than Watchers. Because Watchers is terrible.
Damn.
I thought it was a horror movie. It has like a horror premise. And then the movie's just like, whatever.
Is it more like we're gonna do lots of like build up, thriller, suspense stuff, but no release on that?
No.
Damn.
We're gonna set up a horror premise, then all the characters are gonna tell you things are getting tense when nothing is, and then we're gonna turn into young adult fantasy nonsense at the end of this movie.
Well, on the bright side, there's a little third movie plugged in there for you. Now, I don't have to go see it, and neither do you. John's recommendation, don't watch The Watchers.
I will take all of these blows for you. Don't see Purifiers, don't see Watchers, don't see Lara Croft, whatever this was. Don't even listen to the show.
Turn it off! Turn it off!
Cut the feed.